At this point, we are going to ask our Honorable Assembly Member, Gregg Hart, who represents the 37th Assembly District, if he would come up.
Well, it's really nice to be with us all together this morning. It's a beautiful day in Santa Barbara, and it's a reminder of how much we have to be grateful for. This is a very solemn occasion, but it's also an inspiring day too, because this is our opportunity to reflect back on one of the great heroes of our lives, Dr. Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King, and the work that they did together to advance humanity at every level in our community. This year's theme is one of Dr. King's most direct challenges to leadership. He said, "We need leaders not in love with money, but in love with justice, not in love with publicity, but in love with humanity." That's a very high bar to hit. It's a powerful reminder, and I think it's a stark contrast to what we are seeing today in Washington from the Trump administration. The level of corruption, cruelty, and disrespect for humanity is profound, and all of us are feeling that attack at a very personal, visceral level. And it really is a choice for us every day as to how we will react to that. And I think the lessons from Dr. King and Coretta Scott King inform us more importantly today than at any point in our lives, because we're forced with a choice too. You know, how will we respond to the attacks on our neighbors, to the attacks on our liberties, to really a fundamental threat to the American way of life and all the progress that we have been working for our entire lives to make life better for others. And I think in this moment, we are rising to that choice in the right way. We are fiercely determined to hang on to the progress that we've made, and we are not stepping back from the challenges of the future. You know, it isn't easy. The things that Dr. King faced, the things that the civil rights protesters faced, the issues that were broiling our country in the Vietnam War and the resistance that many people brought to that fight too, are the same challenges we have today. The threats we are facing from conservatives that are truly fascists, that really want to take over our country and to pull us back in time, are as demanding as they have ever been in our country's history. And yet here we are, gathered today in community to recognize that we have a choice and we have the ability to influence events, and we are making that happen. I see hope and opportunity in the darkest moments that we have had just in the last couple of weeks in Minneapolis, because it is very clear to me that the country is waking up, that these shocking images that we're seeing on television of police violence and murder are just like the shocking images that we saw in the 1960s in the civil rights fight. You know, those kinds of moments in time where we recognize evil that we are facing and know what we need to do in the face of that, this is that moment. And each of us have a choice. Dr. King's final book was called "Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community?" And he spoke about the fierce urgency of now. That is exactly what we are facing now, the fierce urgency of now. And it is difficult to bring ourselves forward and to have the energy and to have the fight that is necessary at a moment like this. But difficult times demand powerful, strong resilience. And that's what I know we share together. That's why we're here together, to embrace the challenge that we face and to meet that challenge head on. And I am confident that we can do that. Even when true leadership is lacking at the top, Dr. King reminds us that responsibility doesn't disappear. It shifts to us, to our communities, to the nonprofit organizations, to the local leaders, to the community leaders, to each individually and what we're teaching our children about the moment. That is a profound responsibility. And as we honor Dr. King today and Coretta Scott King, let's recommit ourselves to that kind of leadership. Leadership rooted not in money or publicity, but in justice and humanity. Let us choose community over chaos and act with this urgency this moment requires, with resiliency and endurance and power. Thank you very much.